head coach of America's team, back with us on Shan, RJ, and Bobby. Last year we got the Radio Gold. You got a new coffee flavor in honor of Coach's first appearance.
I'm on a buttered pancake coffee flavored kick. I'm straight black.
Yeah,
but the flavoring buttered pancake.
Now, is that going to go well with the home blood pressure machine that you were ordered to get yesterday?
Well, we'll see. We'll find out. That blood pressure was in the high 140s.
Ooh,
over the high 90s. We're not doing well right now.
All right, let's bring in Mike McCarthy back on DFW Sports Station 105.3 The Fan. Good morning, Coach. Great to have you back.
Well, good morning, man. It's great to be back on with you.
How do you feel about the defibrillator or the new coffee for Choppy there?
Oh, was I supposed to comment on that quality introduction or prelude?
We thought you cared about RJ's blood pressure. Maybe not. That's fine.
Well, no, I was talking more about the coffee because I thought RJ was just straight black. I mean, every time we do one of these shows, he changes.
I drink it straight black, but it's the flavored beans, I guess. I don't know, whatever.
And the bean. I guess that's acceptable.
All right, appreciate that one.
Coach, does the start of this year have its own feel, have its own different feeling from the other seasons you've started here with the Cowboys, and if so, how?
Definitely. Every year has a different, angle of excitement, and it's no different this year. But no, I think it's just like everything that we do here. I mean, this is the point of the season where you appreciate the grind and everything that the men have gone through to get to this spot. But now it's time to start. We're guaranteed 17 games, and we know what we need to do throughout this this journey. But at the old one game at a time, it's right on us. And getting that first win is always, every single season is always a challenge. At September football, and just making sure we're ready to go and expect the unexpected.
How do you feel that this roster or this team's makeup is unique or a little bit different from some of the past teams that you've had?
I love the makeup of it, and I think just like anything, we've been pushing ahead here since April together, and you take a while to once you fill out that 90-man roster after the draft and so forth. But since then, I think we've done a really good job of tailoring the scheme to the players, and I will say the readiness in certain positions is extremely high. So there's so much to be excited about. But I'm still in that mode of we got to clean up some things today, and we'll be ready to go Sunday night.
So communication offensively was something the guys talked about throughout the entire offseason. What is your comfort level in terms of offensive communication with some of the changes that you're making based upon some of the things you wanted to clean up from last year? How comfortable are you with where you guys are now?
Well, it starts in the classroom, and I think we've really knocked it out of the park in that area. I think it's just reflected in the way the players are communicating in the meetings and on the field, because it happens every year. A third of our football team is new to us, and you just really you don't really totally know the connection that you truly have, as far as a game of football till you get out there and play. And so Sunday will be our first opportunity, but all the preparation part of it, we feel great about, and I have a lot of confidence in the way our guys are prepared for this opportunity.
Mike McCarthy joining us here, 105 through the Fan. Coach, a lot was made in the offseason about the famous comment, I want to run the damn ball. It looked like it got twisted a little bit, especially nationally. Like, was that taken too literally? What clarify what you meant by that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was part of a conversation, really talking through just the history, the short history of my time here offensively. So run the damn ball was more of a it was referring to back in 2020 when when we were first going through this system and defining the system under Kellen and the direction that we want to go as a team. And it was more of a reflection of your players. We had Zeke and Tony, and those two guys needed to touch the ball. And if you look at the way we played in 21 and 22, I think it's a better utilization of the complementary football formula that we're about here. So so the comment was in reference to back in the beginning of developing an offensive philosophy and an outlook. So, I guess I'm responsible. I should have probably addressed it back then when it was taken that way. But yeah, I didn't. Like I said, it was a conversation more about the history of how the offense evolved from 2020, 2021, 2022. What a great long answer. We're wasting time on factor here. Come on.
All right, Coach. So we've gotten a lot of questions from fans, about they just keep hearing West Coast offense tied to this. And for the fans who don't know what, all the X's and O's and the deep dive and stuff like that, how would you just kind of explain the broad philosophy behind what the West Coast offense is?
If you look at the, history of the league offensively, there's primary systems that have been in place, for decades, obviously. And, and then, once, the game's evolved, coaches, from different systems, you end up taking different, thoughts from one system to the other. And that's very common now. So, but there's always an origin, a foundation of what you truly believe in. Because, today you're definitely going to be challenged. So you do need some of the other concepts from the other offensive systems. But the West Coast offense is really the design of making the quarterback successful, and just there's particulars in the pass game that are different than the way we've done it before. And it's just really you see a lot of common schemes in this game, but it's really how you coach those schemes and the details of what you believe in. And the West Coast offensive system has been around forever, and it's just definitely a system I believe in.
How has Dak taken ownership of this offense?
Well, he's taken great ownership of it. It's a quarterback-driven system, and it's about making them successful. And the starting point is, a healthy run game and a protection, system that gives you the ability to play to the quarterback's feet and the time clock of the receivers and all those particulars.
Coach, we know Brian Schottenheimer obviously is the offensive coordinator now. You're going to be calling plays on game day. What will Brian Schottenheimer's role look like on game day? What sort of responsibilities will he have?
No, Brian will be right in the middle of everything. I mean, he's on the field. We're working counter each other on the field as far as when the play entry is going in and the communication network. He'll be right in the middle of the adjustments with the quarterbacks. When the defense is on the field, he'll be one of the key communicators in our network.
Mike McCarthy here on 105.3 The Fan. Two big offseason additions that we were all kind of blown away by in training camp. The impressions of Brandon Cooks and Stephon Gilmore throughout all the offseason work.
Better than advertised. I mean, they come in here with very high level of professionalism. What they've connected with their teammates has been super impressive. So then on top of that, they're outstanding football players. I mean, these guys really know their craft. They have a high understanding of the game, the game within the game, the details and particulars, and the way they share the cross the hall format that we have in place here. So they've been great additions.
Having seen him, and been around him, why is Brandon Cooks traded like every year? Like, can you figure that out?
No, I couldn't figure it out before, and even more so now. I mean, he's a joy. He's a joy to have, part of our program. I mean, he's a joy to be around every day. I mean, he loves football. Has a high passion for football. I mean, he's a great teammate. So, and he just goes over 1,000 yards every year. I don't know what else to. I'm just so happy he's here. That's for sure.
Coach, with the way that the preseason is nowadays, with not playing a ton of starters, how tough is that transition to the first game? What natural sloppiness do you maybe expect? We didn't get a ton of penalties last night. I'm wondering, are guys going to be gassed and cramping up? How is the new preseason or the way it is now carry over to that first real game with the issues that you may have arise?
Well, it's definitely a threshold you have to pass over, and it's no different when you go out there for those first 20 plays of preseason football. So, but I think you just have to really trust your process and trust where you are as a team. That's part of the factors that go into our training camp method. So, which I think our guys have done a great job, and and we have we got a system here of how we train, and as far as our trainers, strength and conditioning, and the information you have on each and every player. So I feel really good about the conditioning of the team. So that's not a concern of mine. If anything, I think we may get some rain up for Sunday night. So and living in this weather, it is part of it. So the way our guys trained, and I think the fact that we were able to go as hard as we did out there in California, I think that really helps us. So, but yeah, no, we're excited to get going, and you definitely you have to go get that first hit and all those things early. But I think the biggest thing is just to trust the plan and play the way we've been practicing.
Talking with Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy. Coach, when you look at, we've seen you out there this offseason working really closely with Dak. You've talked about how great it's been to work more closely with him. One of the discussion points about Dak is always people talk about his traits. And one of the first things they point to is his leadership and the intangibles and some of those things. And that goes without saying. What would you say you feel like is his greatest physical trait, his greatest talent as a quarterback in terms of, as a physical athletic trait?
I think the biggest thing is I think Dak does an incredible job of working and improve on all the fine motor skill traits, and that's what I've been super impressed with. I mean his elbow and shoulder flexibility has increased significantly. Just in my time here, I think the program that he has as far as taking care of his body and change his body has been super impressive. But so my point is, I think his ability to make the different angle throws. I mean, you could see that in his game. So I'm definitely seeing the combination of the footwork and the improved arm stroke is really factoring. So I mean, you can see it at practice. And so, just his ability to throw the football. I've just been super impressed with the instinct of it. So I'd probably start there.
Coach, we also saw yesterday Tyron Smith popped up on the injury report, limited with an ankle. We know that, Tyler Smith has been working his way back. Sam Williams, Donovan Wilson, those are kind of the key injuries in this week. Could you just kind of reset where you are right now with those guys in their rehab and specifically any update on what Tyron Smith is dealing with?
Yeah, I mean, Tyron will know more today, but I think I think we're going to be okay there. But yeah, those guys will. Today's our kind of a regen Friday day, so we'll have an extensive mock game jog through and that type of level. So we'll have a good feel after we get done with those guys today where they are. But most importantly, the Saturday practice is always the determining factor of who plays and who doesn't.
Coach, does the West Coast passing attack help if you have some issues with guys missing up front with some of the quicker dropbacks, or is that an old, outdated thought?
No, I think it's the way the game's has to be played. As far as regardless of what system you're in. I think you have to be able to make sure you have the things available for your players. And to me, it's about getting the ball distributed, how you do that, and like I said, there's a lot of common schemes in this league, and just people coach them differently. That's the beauty of the game. So I'm understanding the fine details of how you do it is I think what our players have done a good job of. Yeah, but so how you play the game, I think it just has to fit the game plan for this particular week.
Mike McCarthy here on The Fan. Before we let you go, your thoughts on the opponent. What did you see from the Giants last year on film, and how do you view them with their offseason moves?
Well, I think that the thing you look at is you look at the course of their season, and I thought they're playing excellent football near the end of the year. So I mean, there was a number of games that we really focused on there. But it starts inside with them on defense, no doubt about it. But I think all their moves have been definitely helped the football team. So linebacker, receiver, all the way through. So I mean, Paris Campbell gives them a different element. So obviously, excuse me, obviously Darren Waller is a whole nother level of playmaker that they didn't have there before. So how they're going to play those guys, that's the beauty of the game. That's the beauty of September football. Because the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season, you're going to see a third of those plays in a game are going to be unscouted looks. So and it goes both ways too. So we understand that, but I think they've definitely upgraded both their offense and defensive personnel.
Hey, Coach, real quick, last one. I've been dying to ask you this all off season. It's been bugging me. There is this crusade to completely undermine and disrespect you as a coach. People are forgetting you've won a Super Bowl. Everyone's got you on the hot seat. these rankings have you, I think, way too low. Do you hear the noise? Do you feel like you're on a hot seat? Like, what's your take on that?
I just feel the love, brother. I don't know what you're talking about. No, it's part of the ride. It's part of the responsibility, and it's definitely part of responsibility. Being a head coach in this league, and definitely part of being a head coach of the Dallas Cowboys.
Coach, it's great to have you back again for another season. Best of luck. We cannot wait to see this thing get going. Good luck, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you.